What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Now today I'm at Currans Hill Skate Park here. I'm going to be skating that little thing and teaching you guys how to blunt to fakie. So this is a trick that so many people are scared of. I know why, because it's so much commitment for you to pop back into the quarter pipe, but it's honestly not as hard as what you think. So a lot of my homies and a lot of people that I know and I've watched people try to do this, they can't do this trick because they're scared of the commitment. But if I teach you these trick tips of how I do it, you should be able to figure it out a bit easier, and it'll get you towards committing to that popping back into the ramp rather than getting hung up, because that's the thing that people get scared of the most. They're going to try and pop back in and get hung up, but it's not that hard. I'm going to teach you my tricks and we're going to get into the blunt to fakie today. So first I got to warm up because it's freezing out here. The sun is just behind those trees and it's 8:30 in the morning right now. It's literally 3 degrees out here, so even my hands are shaking trying to hold this camera. So I'm going to cruise around, warm up a little bit, and then I'm going to get into the blunt to fakie. I'm going to start on this little quarter here, because this is that's the first tip, I guess. You need a quarter with heaps of mellow concave there. If it's too steep, you've got less room to pop into and you're landing back into a steep quarter. So a mellow little ramp like this is perfect. So let me warm up first and I'll get into that more. Alright guys, feeling much better after that little 15-20 minute warm up. It's just my hands are still a bit cold, but so with the blunt fakie, this is, honestly it's not as hard as what you're thinking it is. As in the difficulty level of what the trick is. So you guys, if you can't do rock the fakies and axle stalls and all your basic kind of tricks, then definitely don't jump straight into this blunt to fakie. This is more of an advanced trick, but if you're up to this level, it's not as hard as what you think. So I'm going to get into that now in that little quarter pipe. I just did a few just before, and now actually, I don't want to brag or anything. It sounds so stupid when people say that, but I did my switch blunt to fakie and blunt 180 all first try, because it's a trick I'm pretty comfortable with, and like I was saying, the quarter pipe that you use has a lot to do with it, and that thing's perfectly concaved, I guess, if that's what you even call it. But this one's a bit harder over there. It's just as good, but it's bigger. It's not twice the size, but it's definitely bigger, so I like to skate that little one. But yeah, I'm going to get into that now, give you my tips. I've got 3 main tips of what's going to help you, and things to avoid when people are learning this, what you should avoid, because people get comfortable with trying certain ways that isn't good for you, and you're going to get hung up and it's just more dangerous. So let's get into that right now. Alright guys, like I said, if you're a beginner still and you can't do your basic rock the fakies, axle stalls, rock and rolls, all that stuff, this video is not for you. This is if you're already trying to learn how to blunt a fakie and you just can't figure it out, if you're at that level. I'm going to teach you how I do it, because it's honestly a lot easier than what you think. So first thing, what I always think about is you're trying to get your wheels just over. So a lot of people don't get quite up and they slip down, or they go too far over the top. So what I try and do is manual. As soon as my wheels touch that coping, I'm manually lifting up and then slotting right in there. So my wheels are just on top of the coping. So always think about that when you're getting into it, and keeping your body weight in the ramp. That's my #1 biggest tip for when you're starting. Keep your body weight in the ramp. Because if you go into the blunt and you get on top of the deck here, it's a lot harder for you to pop back into the ramp from there. So if you just get your wheels on top, keep your body weight in the ramp, and then it's one of those tail pops to get back into fakie. Like when you're doing it like a tail pop off a gutter or something, you need to learn that movement too. With the foot placement, I'd say have your front foot just underneath those bolts here or on top of them. That's usually where I place mine there. Usually below the top 2 bolts, but a lot of people like to have them over those 2 bolts there. Back foot on the tail here, as if you're about to pop an Ollie, because once you hit that coping and you're popping off, your foot needs to be in the same position to pop back. So from there, and you're doing a little fake pop Ollie, like the tail drop Ollie. But yeah, that's the foot placement that you want to have right there. So coming all the way up to the coping, manualing up just to get your wheel onto the top, but keep your body weight in the ramp, and then you're at the point where you need to learn how to pop in. So what I usually teach people like for the pop in is like what I just said, doing the tail drop. So learning how to drop down and pop off the tail without Ollie. So that's, you can do that on ledges or you can do that on other things, but another way to learn how to get used to the pop is popping in to rock the fakie. So you don't have to get your front wheel all the way over into this side. Just get used to popping in and landing here, because it's going to be so hard for you to commit to going from here all the way in. So get used to that popping movement, pop it into a rock the fakie, and get used to going into that first. So that'll be the second step. So once you're getting comfortable getting into the trick, popping in to go to rock the fakie and getting that pop movement down, what the next thing is for you to finally get into popping into the Ramps of Fakie. One of the best tips I've ever heard, and I think it was my man Mole, shout out to Mole. If it was him, I'm pretty sure it was him that taught me, or was saying this to someone, but if you think about popping all the way out and trying to go to a nose stall, like to touch your nose, that's what's going to help you get your whole board and body weight back into the ramp. Because if you're thinking just to go into fakie, a lot of people go like right where the ramp is, and it's more common to get hooked that way. Or they do the little pop into fakie manual and come down, which I wouldn't advise. That's scary. I've seen people do it. It's crazy, but if you go too far in your manual or you don't hold it properly, you're still going to get hooked either way. So once you're doing a big pop out, try and think about your nose hitting or clearing the coping here. So if you think about nose stalling, you're not going to do that obviously. But if you think about it, it's going to help level your board out more as well. So you can come in and land rather than having like such a vertical board like this and having more chance of sticking, putting your tail down and falling back. So think about that. Pop out, try and get the nose to level out and touch as you come back down. So a lot of the trick to it is just having your body weight in the ramp, because it's going to be harder if you go all the way over. It's going to be harder to pop all the way back in and get your body weight from on top of the deck into the ramp. So if you go up, keep your body weight here, pop hard, try and think about the nose hitting. You're going to clear it, and these tips, they might not seem like much, but it's definitely going to help. One last tip that I'll say is if you're still having trouble committing to landing on that, try and practice your Ollie to fakie. Because if you're coming up Ollieing, you're going to get used to that popping movement and landing fakie, rolling away switch two. So Ollie to fakie is something that's going to help you out a lot too. So that'll be my last tip on helping you to learn how to blunt fakie and get that commitment back into the ramp. Alright guys, so they're my main tips on learning how to blunt fakie and how to commit to popping back into fakie. So I know it doesn't sound like much, but they're definitely going to help you. So the main things are keeping your body weight in the ramp, so you're already where you want to land. Learning how to do that big pop in, so go and practice off ledges and stuff, learning how to do that tail drop, but you're just doing it back into the ramp obviously, and learn how to Ollie to fakie to get used to landing in the ramp, going back down. And the last thing is the blunt and trying to pop into the nose stall. You're not going to pop into a nose stall, but think about that so your nose can clear the ramp and you can land in properly. So I'm going to do a few more, and hopefully this helps because I like to practice them anyway, and it's a fun trick once you learn it. It's very satisfying. So I'm going to do a few more and show you guys. Alright, got 10 blunts of fakies on this little one, 5 on the big one over there. So hopefully you guys got enough insight of how to do the trick. So the tutorial part of the video is over now. I'm going to try and do 5 more variations of blunt on this, like switch blunt 180 and stuff like that. So 5 more tricks, and then I'll wrap up the video. Too far again. Alright, that is the blunt to fakie trick tip tutorial. I hope this helps you guys, because if you follow these little steps and the tips I'm teaching you to build your way up, you're going to start building that confidence to start popping back into the ramp and landing to fakie without getting hooked up and without like popping up and just bailing, because that's the most scariest thing. Like when I was learning them years ago, I remember just like getting into the blunt, your body weight's in the quarter pipe, you do a big pop and everything's looking good and you just jump off and bail, because it's honestly terrifying at first. So follow these tips. Think about keeping your body weight in the ramp, number one, biggest thing. Get used to that popping movement. So popping in to rock the fakie helps you, getting that pop, and you don't have to commit to going all the way in at first. And then once you learn how to do those big tail pops and learning how to Ollie fakie in the ramp, it's going to be the similar movement to get you back from over the coping into the ramp. So follow all those steps. Hope it helps. Let me know if it does help, because this is how I've taught other people to do it too. And this, in my head, it makes so much sense, especially when you're popping and thinking about the nose touching the coping. So as you're popping towards a nose stall, that's going to help level your board out and get you over the coping, so you're not going to get hooked up. So yeah, let me know if this helps, if you guys are going to go and try this, and if you've been trying it, if you've thought about these tips or any other tips you might have that we can put in the comments and help other people watching this. So yeah, hope it helps. It definitely will if you stick to it properly and just build that confidence up. Let me know what you guys want to learn next, because I want to get back into the tutorial type series. So I've got a list of things I want to teach you guys, but let me know the things you want to learn so I can get to them quick. So yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit me with that big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.